On January 8, 1961, the Star-Ledger posted an article titled, "Skeleton Found Buried in Snow." The skeleton of a woman was found on January 7th in a Woodbridge field by two children, brothers named Anthony, 12 years old, and Michael, 11 years old. The boys had been playing while their father washed his car. The article stated that the boys found the remains 75 feet off of Smith Street in a wooded area near several major highways. The boys walked into the field, which was located a short distance from the Perth Amboy Waterworks and the Edison Bridge across the Raritan River. The medical examiner at the time was a Dr. William C. Willents, who stated that the female skeleton had been deceased from 6 months to a year. There weren't any indications as to the cause of death, and at the time of the article, pathological tests were still pending at Perth Amboy General Hospital in Trenton. Police stated there wasn't any sign of identification in a handbag that had laid among the remains. The woman was dressed in what appeared to be a two-piece gray suit. A blue coat and 3/4-length spring topper were laid underneath the skeleton. The deceased was fully clothed. The woman wore a pair of low-heeled walking shoes. Dr. Willents said the woman was about 5'2" with long brown hair. Her age could not be determined until tests were made. On January 9, 1961, the Shamokin News-Dispatch posted the article, "Body of Woman Identified in New Jersey." The article stated that the woman's skeleton found in the snow was identified as the wife of Milton Davis, Mrs. Frances P. Davis. Frances was identified by dental records. Her husband, Milton, was the president of the John F. Davis Candy Company and the Iona Realty Company, both of which were based in Pennsylvania. The Davises resided in Moscow, Pennsylvania at the time. Milton told police that his wife Frances had been missing from their home since July of last year, 1960. She was the mother of 3 children and had been undergoing mental treatment at home. Dr. William Willents, of course the medical examiner, had stated that Frances died of exposure, with no foul play. An article from the Times Leader explained a bit more about the situation, where it stated that Frances had gone missing on July 15, 1960, when she drove from her home in the family station wagon, had the gas filled at a gas station on Mulberry Street and Wyoming Avenue, then abandoned the vehicle in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Frances had told the attendant that she was going to her husband's realty office in Scranton, and she was last seen between 1 to 3 p.m. that day. A teletype alarm was sent to police agencies through the East, and her picture and description were posted in police stations and post offices. A reward was offered by her family, and the Scranton area was searched in an attempt to find her. Frances had been under the care of a Philadelphia physician for what was only ever described as nervous tension, so I don't know, as of 2026, what that would translate into. Before she went missing in July of 1960, she went missing in June of that same year, June 15th, but was found 4 days later in Stroudsburg. She had spent her time wandering in a patch of woods in the area, according to police. Indeed, there were 2 articles from 1960 that I had found that had talked about her disappearance, but there was nothing posted after August of that year from what I could find. Frances's husband was able to identify her through a part of a necklace, a house key, a religious medal, a wedding ring, and parts of clothing that was found on her body. According to an article from the Tribune, Frances was last seen wearing a gray silk 2-piece suit, high-heel shoes, but no hat or topcoat. She had about $15 in her possession. Frances was the former Frances, as spelled with an E in this article, Frances Polos, born in North Platte, Nebraska, and had been a resident of the Pennsylvania area for 13 years. She had graduated from the University of Nebraska and was a member of the Hellenic Orthodox Church. Frances belonged to the Elpis Society, the Country Club of Scranton, and a volunteer for the Visiting Nurses Association of Lackawanna County. She was survived by her husband, 2 daughters, son, parents, and siblings. Funeral arrangements were made for the E. Strauss Funeral Home. Frances Davis was buried at Abington Hills Cemetery in Pennsylvania. I could not find a page for her on Find a Grave. Frances was 35 years old.